Welcome back to Life and Hair. Do you have any idea how completely nerve-wracking it is getting your first wig and actually putting it on your head and contemplating talking to your husband about wanting to wear it, wearing it out, letting your friends see you in it? It's one of the most nerve-wracking experiences I've ever been through. And I want to tell you that when I got my beautiful Mila, I took the time to get used to wearing her around the house and to looking in the mirror and getting used to seeing the fullness of hair here. This isn't Mila, this is Giselle by Jean Renault in caramel ribbon. But I'm talking specifically about my first wig, which was Mila by Jean Renault. And in fact, this is the tag for Mila. The colour is 8RH14. Really nice natural colour. I would advise you on going and matching your natural hair colour as much as possible with your natural style that you're accustomed to, so that the leap to operating and going about your life wearing this new wig isn't too traumatic and too much of a departure from what you're used to seeing. The beauty of it is once you get used to wearing your wig, you can then start to experiment with different styles and different colours, which is very, very exciting. One of my biggest fears was mentioning this or bringing up the subject with my husband. The reason I was so afraid is because of the old stigma of wearing wigs. It was very fresh in my mind. I didn't know anybody else who wore a wig, and I didn't put two and two together. I didn't realise that a lot of the celebrities of all ages, including ones 20, 30 years younger than me, were all busy wearing and enjoying and rocking their wigs. I assumed that every time I saw a celebrity with a new look or somebody on the red carpet, it was because they had a really good hairstylist who was actually doing their hair for them. Little did I know that a lot of the hairstyles that I saw on TV, etc., in the newspapers, in the magazines, were fake hair. A lot of them are fake hair. So it is very, very prevalent in the media and in public people. And it's only us really that are busy catching up. People like myself, ordinary middle-aged women, we're the biggest market for the wig manufacturers, and one of the biggest hurdles that wig manufacturers have to get over is convincing women that actually wearing any manner of a hairpiece, of extensions, of a topper, of a full wig or a three-quarter wig is perfectly acceptable, desirable, and incredibly exciting, and brings to your life so much drama, so much possibility, so much beauty, that people should be running to buy a wig, not walking. And getting over their fear of looking foolish in a wig. I'd like to show you my very first conversation with my husband. I primed him initially. I said to him that I was wanting to speak to him about something, and I've wanted to talk to him about it for a long time, and he was very, very quiet, kind of looking at the floor while I was priming him for this conversation. Actually, he thought that I was going to be talking about having fallen in love with someone else, so he was really relieved when I said that I wanted to try wearing wigs, and the clip you're about to see is me coming down for the first time. So that was the first time he'd ever seen me actually wearing a wig. I hope you enjoy this conversation, and I hope it gives you a little bit of an idea or a little bit of courage as to how you might approach something similar.
Okay. So this is the very first time that this gorgeous, handsome, beautiful man has actually seen me in Mila. I did shoot a video yesterday and I showed it to him because it's very difficult to actually talk about wanting to do something different. And he took it very well. And I was just wondering what you think.
What do I think?
Yeah.
Well, I think it looks all right. I think it looks good. I don't think you can tell. I think you thought it looked better yesterday, but I don't, You look very different, I've got to say.
Yeah.
But, it's...
And it takes some getting used to.
It does take some getting used to, yeah.
Because really, there's so much more hair in this area that I'm not accustomed to. I'm not accustomed to all of that hair. But the good thing is that I chose a colour that is very similar to my own hair colour, and it's a similar style to the style that I have. And
I mean, it doesn't look that much different. It just looks as if you've just been to the hairdressers.
Yes. And you know something, I think that sometimes women, when they get into a little bit of a rut, let's say they're getting a little bit older, things are changing, they're slowing down a little, they don't really get to go to the hairdresser often. And you forget...
Pricey, isn't it?
And it's very expensive, exactly. And you've got to kind of do it once every 6 weeks. Sorry, swapping hands here. And you forget that newly salon feeling that you get. And so all of a sudden then, when it's on your head, you feel like you're totally overdone. Like it's totally over the top. You feel peculiar. You feel like it's... You feel like it's really, really obvious that, But really the reality is that, maybe when you were younger and you used to...
It feels pretty natural.
Yeah, it does. It does. So this is just one style, and this is quite an open style at the front.
Do they do a Mohican?
Probably. Why would you like one?
Not really,
okay.
No.
The next style that I'd like to get is I'd like to get one with a loose fringe. I'm not planning on taking these wigs out during the day because I don't really need to, but I do want to wear this on Monday night when we go out.
All right. Okay.
So on Monday night, we are going to a group meeting that is a dinner and discussions group in town, where we're going to sit in small tables of about 6 people in a pub. I think the lighting is quite soft.
Are you going to fess up?
Yeah. I mean, because I want to spread the message that it's okay to do what you want to do.
Well, women do this thing now, don't they? A lot more than I thought. Because I'm particularly ignorant in this.
Sorry, guys, I'm having to hold the camera.
But, false nails and false eyelashes and, just to a lummox like me, I always kind of thought they were natural.
Everything is genuine.
Yeah, but, I'm easy to fool,
But they're very good quality. They're very good quality. It's soft. It doesn't...
Yeah, you can't tell the difference.
Smell synthetic.
No.
I mean, it feels kind of weird,
It looks fake if you keep doing that. Although it doesn't at the moment. When you do it, somehow it does.
Yeah, because I'm trying to kind of push it down a little bit. I was really nervous about talking to Steve about it because I thought that he was going to say, absolutely not. It's weird. So I was expecting him to say, you know, I just find it embarrassing, and he didn't. He kind of thought that I was going to say something else. He thought that I was gonna.
Yeah, all right. We don't have to.
He thought I was gonna like confess that I was in love with someone else or something. But I just said that, you know, I realized that people have been wearing wigs, and black women are wearing wigs every day, you know, and people are wearing extensions and stuff, and you know, I now doing my hair for an evening out takes about an hour. You know, first of all, I have to make sure that it's dyed, then I have to wash it, and then I have to dry it, and then I have to style it.
Yeah, me too.
And it takes so long. It takes so long, and all I need to do now is just put it in a low ponytail and put on a style that I want. And I'm going to wear this afternoon, and I'm going to ask Steve what his opinion is. You know, what do I need to do to improve the look of it? What does it look like in natural light? Does this bit look fake? Because this is the bit that I'm most concerned about, is up this way. And see what he says. And thanks very much for being so open-minded.
And I'll let you know.
Okay. Okay, everyone, we're out. We're out in at large, wearing Mila. And I've asked him, what do you think? Does it look natural? Does it look normal? Is there anything peculiar that you want to point out? And he very casually said,
Well, I can't tell him. Well, I mean, obviously it's difficult for me to be objective because you do look significantly different. But, you know, it doesn't, I wouldn't say that it looks anything other than totally natural. That's what I would say.
And yet I feel very confident, which is weird because I thought I was going to come out and suddenly feel like I just wanted to take it off and just put my hair up in a ponytail and just carry on. Actually, I feel totally confident. I feel that these bits here, the way they fall on my face, are very realistic. And the colour is incredibly natural, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't believe there's any shine. Steve, is there any shine on the back pieces?
No.
No shine. For very little work. All I've done is just plonked it on my head, and the longer you wear it, the more it forms to your head, and the hair sits nicely. But not when you first put it on. It takes a while for it to warm up and become your friend. And now I feel like we're very good friends, and I feel comfortable, intimate. And I was just saying that I can't wait to get my next one and get a totally different style with a totally different personality. And isn't that the joy of wearing wigs? Have you got anything to add?
Well, I think you've just got to continue to get more used to it.
Yeah,
and then
more
you'll feel more
accustomed.
relaxed.
But actually, there are some people coming, you see, further down. Yeah. And I'm just going to carry on walking and see what they say.
And as we go past, we'll just turn the camera around to see whether they're going to point and snigger as they go by.
Of course we're not. Okay.
So it was great, you know, that we'd actually talked about it, and he was so open to it. He was so very open to it. My advice is really is to just be open and go for it. What's the worst that's going to happen? All they might do is just kind of politely say that actually they're not really comfortable with it. So going out, you know, so it was great talking to him about it, but then I wanted to test it, you know, because when he told me that he was actually open to the idea, and he gave me some positive feedback, and he said that I looked nice in it, I became emboldened, and I thought, oh, he doesn't think it looks fake. And all I kept saying was, does it look fake? Does it look fake? What do you think? Does it look fake? But after we had our walk, we did pop into the local pub and we sat down and we had a drink before going home. So that's the next step. And then I wore it into someone's home where there were 3 of us, and we spent the entire evening sitting at a table talking about various things. I know that people did look at me, and they looked up at my hair, and they looked at what I was wearing, but nobody was going like this, or like looking at me while I was talking, but all the while trying to put their finger on why I looked a little bit strange. There was none of that vibe happening. I believe that I'm sensitive enough to have picked it up. So, yeah, coming home and taking the time to video my thoughts on that evening. Enjoy this.
Tonight, I decided to wear it again. And this is one of the reasons as to why I bought a wig. Is to turn up knowing that I had to leave the house in about an hour and 15 minutes after coming home from work, having my bath, washing my hair, drying it, putting it in a low ponytail. I mean, obviously my hair is nothing like this. And just whacking my wig on, a little bit of makeup, dressed in sort of going out clothes, and off I go. And I went into someone's house this time, sort of, you know, better lit than this room. And we had an entire evening. But the only difference is that this time I didn't mention the wig at all. I just watched them to see what their reaction would be. What were they looking at? Were they looking at something? But no, they just took me in, you know, just sort of all over, you know, just cast their eye all over. It was the first time they'd met me, and they just accepted that, you know, that I was just one of those lucky women who had beautiful, thick, well-coiffured hair. So I really wanted to document that. If you're somebody who would love to be able to have the convenience and the self-esteem bolstering ability of wearing a beautiful wig. I mean, and this wig is, the Mila is lovely, but I mean, this colour, it's a very ordinary colour. Go ahead, order it, put it on, play with it. You can see the process I went through. Don't waste any time worrying about all of these worst case scenarios that might happen of you walking into a pub or walking into a bar or a restaurant and everybody just looking up at your head, wondering what on earth you were thinking when you put that wig on. You put the wig on, it's going to look really strange to you, but to everybody else, it's just going to look like an ordinary head of hair. And in fact, a good head of hair that they'd probably quite like to have themselves.
So what I really needed, though, is I needed real reassurance that what I saw in people's faces and how I interpreted their behaviour was actually accurate. The fact I wanted to know that they were looking at me and thinking I just looked nice, or noticing other aspects of me rather than the wig. So I spoke to my best friend about it. I spoke to her and I said, I want to interview you about this wig. I want to know what your honest first impressions are. I want to know whether there's anything about it that you are uncomfortable with, or that you'd like to give me feedback about that might be that might need a little bit of improvement. And we sat down and we talked really frankly about it. And she was incredibly close to me. And we went into the bathroom, we looked at the mirror, and before I knew it, she'd taken the wig off my head and it was on her own head. And she sent the photograph to her sisters, she sent the photograph to her mum, and she did actually get some quite positive feedback herself. I wonder what you'll think of our conversation. And Joanna, I would like you to have a look now to see what your first impressions are.
Okay.
Okay.
Wow. Yeah, amazing. Really lovely. Really lovely.
Big question.
Yes.
Is, do you think it looks realistic?
Yes, I do. It's amazing how it does look so realistic. I'm really liking the curly bits in it. I think that looks great, and the highlights.
You like the highlights too?
It's amazing how realistic it is, actually.
So I'm going to just stop this video and flip the thing round.
Okay.
And we can carry on so that I'm actually in it.
Okay, so we've swapped sides so that I'm able to hold the camera.
Yeah.
And so tell me, do you not think that it's very thick up here?
Yeah, but I like that. I think body to hair anyway is nice. It's better than having it. I mean, I like volume to my hair. That's why I keep it short, because it keeps it curly. So no, I think it looks lovely.
But actually, if you were to compare our hair,
it's nice. It's lovely.
this just looks like a very strong, thick head of hair, doesn't it?
I'll tell you what it looks like, Karima. It looks like you've gone to the hairdresser, or you've done it yourself, and you've maybe blow drying it with one of those curly brushes and given it that sort of wave to it.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like.
And so, can we now talk about the actual hair lines?
Yeah.
So just have a look.
Yeah.
And tell me what you can actually see.
Yeah. Well, what I can actually see is that it just looks like your head. It doesn't look like you've got anything sitting there, or it just looks like the roots of your hair. Yeah. It's a really, really good quality one, isn't it?
Yeah.
And in a way, there shouldn't be any stigma about it, should there? Because they are fantastic. They do look really, really great. It looked better than I thought it would do.
Really?
Actually. Yeah. Yeah, I'm really surprised at the quality. I think it's lovely.
Yes. Well, my arm's about to drop off, so I'm going to thank you for your honest opinion.
You're very welcome.
And
So there you have it. I'd like to think that you've got enough evidence to encourage you perhaps to put that wig on, talk to those closest to you first, go out and about, somewhere public but not very heavily peopled, and then maybe as your courage and confidence grows, you might want to go out to town, or to go out in the evening, or to talk to your best friend about it, or to wear her to a pub, or anything really where you can put her on and feel like you're wearing an enhanced version of your natural hair, and really taking it one step at a time until you are bold enough to start ordering the next one. Well, now let's take a closer look at this beauty. This is Mila. She has got a beautiful lace front. Before I actually received this wig and I was able to look at the lace front for myself, I thought to myself, it's like a very fine netting. I can see that netting. How come other people can't see it when you've got the wig on? And really, if you look at the skin on my thumb, that netting tends to really disappear when you put it up against your forehead. I mean, with this one, if I lift it up, you can see the net when I lift it up and there's fresh air behind it. But when that netting is in place on your forehead, it does blend into your skin tone incredibly well. And you'll see that she has got a monofilament top, which means that this area here, that the fibres have been tied into it, and whichever way you part this wig, similarly with the Giselle, you'll be able to see what looks like scalp. So I tell you what, I'll do it on this one because it's much easier. So if, for example, I decided I want a middle parting, look, there's nothing unusual or unnatural about seeing that. It's very, very easy to glance up at somebody's head and see what looks like scalp there and just accept, because the last thing on your mind is they're wearing a wig. What's on your mind is actually just going about your business, living your life, interacting with people and accepting them for who you see them to be. And that in itself is very exciting, because the opportunity to play around with your image, to wear things that you never usually wear, styles that you never usually wear, and people just accepting you as you are is very liberating and can be very enhancing of different aspects of your personality. So there you have it, the monofilament top. And if we turn her inside out, you will see that she has got open wefts. And these wefts are rows of hair that are sewn into these elasticated bands. And what you can actually poke your finger through them, so the air can really get to your scalp. And if it's a hot day, or if you're doing some physical exercise or something, it can actually cool you down. And at the back here, just to give you a little bit more control on how tightly the wig is sitting, you've got the Velcro tabs and the extended nape that you can adjust this wig to. So I'm going to put her on and we'll see what we think. So very quickly, once you've done your makeup and you've chosen what you're going to wear, you have a ready-made style, a perfect style that can be recreated at a moment's notice, which is why they use so many wigs in the film industry, for continuity and consistency, that can be recreated instantly so that you can go out and enjoy, actually focus on enjoying yourself rather than worrying what people might think of your hair, or if you have no hair, you might not want to have to deal with that at that particular time. You just want to put your hairstyle on just the same as you put your makeup on and your clothes on and your nails on or whatever else. And you want to go out, you want to live your life, and you want to enjoy your day and your evening. And that's exactly what having Mila has given me. I do hope you've enjoyed this. I'm going to put the measurements of this wig as well as the colour of this wig on the screen so that you can see her for yourself on whichever website you'd like to buy her from. I bought her from a British website. I believe it was Direct Wigs. And she came very quickly in the post. Probably one of the most exciting days of my life. And I must admit, ever since I started building my confidence in wearing wigs, I have not spent one weekend without a wig on my head. So the only time I don't wear them really is when I go to work. And I really look forward to talking about the next thing, the next aspects of having wigs and trying new styles. And I hope that you've gathered enough evidence now to convince you that nobody can tell you're wearing a wig. It's not the 1960s and the 1970s now, you know, and if you get a wig that doesn't have much permatease on the top, it really, really looks like your natural scalp. So enjoy it.